So it was almost bad for all you listeners slash viewers today, because if you don't remember, Naki wasn't going to be here this week. She had some other things going on. And Anthony has had some internet issues, let's put it that way. So he texted last night and goes, if my internet works, I'll be there. So here's me at about 10:30 my time going, shit, am I going to have to solo show this? But I'm happy to say, and you should be happy to hear, I am not solo showing it today, thank God. Unless Anthony hits the hang up button right now and screws me.
Fucking, I'm out of here!
Oh shit!
Just to watch Chris fucking shiver and shake.
I've had to pull a solo before, it's just not the greatest, because I work better when I
You've never had to do it because somebody was on and they went, nope, pull the plug.
No, I haven't, but that could give me something to talk about for 5 minutes, because I would probably just curse you loudly and, and threaten you in ways I have not yet decided. But then that's a trade-off, because if I threaten you and it's on the internet and something does happen to you, I'm the one that's going to, go to jail.
That's true, and you got to remember with the shit I'm going through right now, it is possible.
It is. So
someone could be hiring someone to kill me right at this very moment.
It is for our best purposes that you do not hang up.
All right, fine, I'll do the show.
See how I spun this, everyone? Naki has better stories to start than I do. But welcome, everyone, to episode 138 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, recorded live on December 21st, 2014. This is our last live show of 2014.
Holy moly!
It is. It's kind of scary. By the time you hear us live again, it'll be 2015, because we are taking next weekend off. We talked about this before, but don't worry, there'll still be a podcast coming out next week, because if you guys remember, Naki was at WindyCon. She did a bunch of interviews and things like that. They've got all that put together in a podcast for us, and we'll be dropping that on Sunday for you guys to hear about some of the craziness that took place at WindyCon. And then, week after that, we'll be back. We'll be live. I'm sure we'll be talking about whatever Christmas hauls we get, things like that. So mark your calendars right now, January 4th. The return of ATGN Live.
The day before my birthday.
Exactly. It's a pre-birthday present for Anthony.
What's really awesome is that we'll be back in 2015, the year of Avengers 2.
Oh, and Star Wars 7.
And Star Wars 7.
This is the year that I have to make it, because if I don't, I'm missing out on stuff.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? With Marvel's announcements, I have to live to at least 2020. Like, I cannot die until at least 2020.
See, I'm worried I'm going to do something dumb between now and then. It's going to take me out, and then I'm going to be sitting there in hell going, I must see the Avengers 4. Damn you!
Oh yeah, and you know, hell, man, they get movies slower than old fucking VHS movies drops used to. Hell gets them real slow. They're still watching, Weekend at Bernie's 2 in hell. Like, they don't get their movies quick at all. It's part of being in hell.
Well, I mean, if you're there forever, though, eventually you're going to get those movies.
Eventually, but, I mean, you're so far behind. And then they make them, and they make everybody watch them a year apart, so nobody can talk about them.
Bastards. If you spoil the movie in hell, they take your hand off.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, they super glue it back on, and then they Skywalker you, so you just go no as your hand is gone.
I'm reading some book from Boom that was part of their Humble Bundle. I want to say it's called Dead Letters, and it's a weird one where the guy wakes up and basically it's a story about being stuck in purgatory. So people realize they can get beyond where they are, but it's this weird story where like you have a physical body, and because people were stuck there so long, they basically rebuilt it to be like Earth. So like people work jobs and do normal stuff, but you can be injured, but you can't die. And so it's like a world where basically everybody is Wolverine with a slightly slower healing factor. And so it's all these people fucking each other up and breaking bones and shooting each other, and then somehow one guy figures out a weapon that can actually destroy souls. So he has a I think it's a knife that if he stabs you with, you actually fucking disappear. But other than that, you can take any injury. It's a really crazy fucking concept.
Interesting.
It's a good comic though. I think there was 3 or 4 issues in the Humble Bundle from Boom, and I'm on the 3rd one. It's fucking weird.
That could be cool. I might have to check that one out. Now I don't need to look up comics right now. I'm still reading a bunch of my backlog. There's a lot of Star Wars I missed out on Dark Horse that they put on sale for Black Friday / Cyber Monday, and I'm still catching up. Multiple trades and things like that. It's bad, man. I have an addiction, and it's comics.
I finished the Thrawn trilogy.
Ooh, you finished it? What'd you think of it?
I think the end wrapped up too quick. But
that's a valid statement. I think, but that is my unofficial Star Wars 7 through 9 right there, the Thrawn trilogy. So I love it.
I did like it. I'm gonna have to reread it again because, like I said, like there's so many new characters and so many names that they throw at you that by the time like the big finale at the end's happening, I still kind of couldn't remember who everybody was. I would have to say at this point, I'd still say Thrawn trilogy would be number 2, and the Shadows of the Empire would be my number 1.
Okay, Shadows is
but
really
that's also it was the first thing I ever read post seeing Star Wars that was a continuation of the story, and so the idea just of Luke joining the Emperor and becoming the new apprentice and then becoming a more badass Jedi than his dad ever was is just such a great fucking concept that I don't know if anything would be good enough to overshadow that story in my head.
Probably
not. The Thrawn trilogy was definitely fun, and I do see where like everybody got kind of hooked on the character of Mara Jade.
I mean, and the Thrawn trilogy is basically what kickstarted the expanded universe, because you'd had the Star Wars movies, and you had Splinter of the Mind's Eye was one of the books that had been written, and then the old school Marvel comics and things like that. And then I think it was in 91 or 92, Tim Zahn put out the first book, Heir to the Empire, I believe it is. And it was just incredible. I remember my dad was like, hey, there's a Star Wars book. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's just the movies? He's like, no, it's a new book, and he bought it. So then he gave it to me after he read it, and I was like, holy shit. This is amazing. And bear in mind, like 91, 92, I'm like 8 or 9.
Nice.
And I'm powering through this, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, and I've read Splinter of the Mind's Eye, but in like junior high, so I can barely remember it. I still own it. I should probably go read it again.
Yeah, Splinter of the Mind's Eye doesn't really make much sense in comparison to everything else now. It made sense then when it was its own little tie-in to things, but with what you know of the Force from the other movies and things like that, Splinter of the Mind's Eye is really just kind of weird. I think is the best way of putting it.
Might be fun to reread, though. The only other one I got, because I think I've only read, outside of Star Wars Legacy was my big one. That was the one that I loved, Cade Skywalker in the future.
Okay. I've only read a couple issues.
A non-Jedi that basically runs his life more like Han Solo. That is probably my favorite set of Star Wars stories. That character is fucking awesome. And he keeps being visited by the Force ghost of Luke Skywalker, his great-great-great-grandfather. That one's awesome, but the only other ones I've read were, for the novel-wise, was I read, was it Shatterpoint? Where you get the origin of Mace Windu and the Seventh Jedi fighting style. The Vespia or whatever it is. I can't remember what it's called. But you find out that not only is Mace Windu like the one guy with the purple lightsaber, he invented his own fighting style as a Jedi.
With a pod or something like that, I think is what it was.
A pod, yeah. I think that sounds right. But yeah, that was a good book. That was a fun read. I got that in one of the book clubs back a couple years ago. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, Matt Stover is one of the best. Matthew Woodring Stover is the guy that wrote that. He's one of the best Star Wars authors for the expanded universe, which technically doesn't exist anymore. But he wrote a book that I loved in the New Jedi Order. That it comes down to a philosophical argument about the Force, and they make the statement there. And it's kind of gotten debunked because Lucasfilm didn't like it and all that, but that the Force does not have a light side or a dark side. It's your actions that make the Force light or dark. If you choose to use Force lightning to defend someone, that is not a dark side power. You're using the Force in a way that many associate to be dark side, but your actions are pure.
Yes, that's kind of the way I understood it, because the way I looked at it in Shadows of the Empire, Luke goes to work for the Emperor and becomes the apprentice, but he never turns evil.
Well, that's Dark Empire, isn't it?
Or Dark Empire, Shadows of the Empire, and then Dark Empire. It's a 2 or 3 book series. But yeah,
it's Dark Empire, because Shadows is the one between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole time Luke's never evil, but he actually goes to work for the Emperor and then uses that as a way to find out how to finally kill him. When you realize the Emperor is still alive because he has his clone body banks, and the Emperor has the Dark Force power of regeneration. But in that one, the way I comprehend it, yeah, Luke gets to a point where he understands the Force maybe even slightly better than Yoda, because he gets to a point where he realizes there is no good or bad. There is no light side, dark side. The Force is nature. However you use it will more amplify the person that you are. Exactly. So if you're a prick and you access, a bunch of really powerful Force powers over and over again, you just become more of a prick.
Pretty much. The nature of the Force
I
is...
like that theory. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that theory of the Force.
I don't like the thought that the Force compels me to be evil, the Force compels me to be good.
Well, and the idea that if you use, I mean, I guess certain powers, like if you were instantly killing people, like a lot of that I would possibly tend to think that's a more dark power. But yeah, the idea that you have control of, physical aspects of your universe because you can access this, power supply basically and use the Force, but because you use Force lightning, you're evil, and if you don't, you're not. Like that doesn't really make sense.
Right, I completely agree with you on that.
Yoda could rock the lightning, right? That doesn't make him a bad little green guy.
Well, in the comics and the books, there was actually a Jedi Knight that could rock a version of Sith lightning, but instead of being bluish white, it was green.
And I like this Cade Skywalker. I can't remember if they did a lightning effect or not, but he was the only one that I've seen that can do the Jedi healing the way he does, where they actually said it was him accessing the dark side of the Force, because he was actually basically stealing life back from the Force to put it into people. And so in the Legacy comics, he heals a couple of different people. And they keep saying, like, oh, he's going to turn bad because he's healing people. And he's like, fuck you, I'm just using the Force to do good. How could that ever make me a bad person?
Exactly.
Because he was saving lives.
That's part of the Dark Horse run, though, so technically it doesn't exist.
Well.
All those things we know from before don't exist unless they're Star Wars Rebels.
Like Jay said, he still has all those comics in his room, and I still have, a giant row of trade paperbacks that say Star Wars Legacy. So as long as I have them, they still exist. They may not be canon, but I still got them, and I can still reread them.
Yeah,
I still love it. Somebody put up the picture on it was a Facebook little joke meme, where somebody put it had the 7 Harry Potter books, and it had the statement was, I've read all the Harry Potter books, and then there was a picture of every Star Wars novel in the expanded universe. And underneath that, in the quote, it just said, "That's cute."
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, up until the most recent run of the Expanded Universe books, I'd read them all, too. All through the New Jedi Order and the Dark Nest trilogy, I'd read all of that stuff. The things I did after that, I hadn't read any. And I'd owned most of those books at one point in time.
Wow.
I was... I don't know. I've never really explained. I was a huge Star Wars fan, and I kind of gave it up a little bit because... JS talked about it before on some of the other podcasts he's done. He got a little burnt out by the prequels, and I kind of get that. I didn't get nearly as burnt out as him, but it pulled my interest back a little bit. And the Episode 7 coming and some of the comic series and things like that, it's kind of brought it all back, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, Star Wars, I've missed you!
Nice.
And I really have.
I'm excited for this year. It's just one of those things where, like, I know how much people really dislike the prequels, and I definitely don't prefer them, but they are Star Wars for a new generation, and there was definitely really cool parts in them, and I really liked them when I went and saw them in the theater. Like, I enjoyed seeing those movies. The whole, like, political trade embargo, maybe not the best idea to start off your series with, but, I mean, there was some cool fucking lightsaber fights. I mean, we had Darth Maul. Fucking, anytime you have Ray Park and you can't see his face, that's an awesome $100 million movie. It's a proven fact. You cover Ray Park's face, and you're going to get some of the best fight scenes ever, and you're going to make $100 million. If you show Ray Park's face, your movie will be a fucking failure. Ballistic X vs. Sever was awesome, and nobody but me saw it. Like, it made $12. It was very, very poorly done. But it had Ray Park fighting Lucy Liu.
Yeah, I remember the previews for it.
Scene. Yeah, it was a weird one. It just didn't do well, but I don't know. I liked it. But yeah, I mean, there was definitely some good parts about the trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and I'm just stoked for the fact that we're going to get more Star Wars. Even if there is another Jar Jar character that we all want to kill, and maybe there's some political intrigue stuff that seems a little fucking boring at the beginning, we're still going to see fucking possibly anywhere from 6 to 9 more hours of badass lightsaber fights, crazy fucking space chases, and lazily driving to the left.
Yeah.
I'm fucking stoked. I love me some Star Wars.
Yeah, Jay tends to agree. He goes, the lightsaber battles are incredible in the prequels.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Ray Park, when he's taking on both of them, I mean, that was some shit that they never touched a level like that in the original trilogy. Fucking using a bow staff lightsaber to fight off Jedi's, that was some pimp shit.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Okay, so I guess we're talking Star Wars. Let's talk about this cool story that I saw. Is 2 days ago they did a live reading of The Empire Strikes Back. Jason Reitman was doing it, a live read of Empire, and some of the actors have already been announced. But one of the coolest things they did for this live table read is, did you hear who played the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Boba Fett, and the Emperor?
No.
Mark Hamill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Mark Hamill came in to do it. They had a really interesting cast. Aaron Paul was Luke Skywalker.
Nice.
Jessica Alba was Princess Leia.
This is a reading where?
It was a table reading in Hollywood somewhere, I guess. I can't figure out where it was, but there was a live read before
just for
1,600 fans.
Oh, that's awesome.
Darth Vader, played by J.K. Simmons, which I think is awesome.
Oh. Bring me Skywalker! If he doesn't want to be famous, I'll make him infamous!
Rainn Wilson plays Chewbacca.
That's amazing.
Did you hear who Han Solo was?
No, I mean, I didn't hear anything about it.
People didn't think this one was going to be very good, but everyone saw it live, so it was really good. Han Solo was played by Ellen Page.
Ellen Page?
Ellen Page was Han Solo.
Oh, I love her. She's so awesome.
Lando
and that is her bio on Twitter. The tiniest Canadian.
Yeah.
That's her bio.
Lando Calrissian, played by Dennis Haysbert. If you don't remember President Palmer from 24, the guy in all the Allstate commercials.
Oh, nice.
Stephen Merchant.
I like him as President Palmer.
Stephen Merchant is 3PO. Kevin Pollak is Yoda. I'm really hoping that this live read somehow gets put up for sale or online or something so I can see this. All the reviews I read said it was fantastic, but I haven't seen it, and I want to see it. And there's little bits and pieces that have been put on YouTube, but that's not enough. That's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, where's the whole thing? Because I know there's one that somebody did, I want to say it was Emerald City, like 2012. And I have it saved on my to-watch on YouTube because it's super long. But it's like a 35-minute read of Star Wars, but it was all the voice actors that were there at the time. So, like, it's Tara Strong, and I want to say Jim Cummings. Fucking, like, Winnie the Pooh is, I think, Darth Vader.
It was from Emerald City Comic Con, and they basically have all these different voice actors up there, and they have them switch through things, and they have Kevin Conroy's Batman basically be the narrator for everything.
Yeah, see, I've watched, like, the first 10 minutes of it, but I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but that one is fucking awesome.
It's fantastic.
So, I mean, someone will have to have the whole video of this released. Because, yeah, it just sounds like way too much fun to not let everybody watch it.
Yeah, I don't know where. It was a live read at the Ace Hotel in downtown Los Angeles on Thursday night. Reitman had previously done The Princess Bride, Ghostbusters, American Beauty, and The Apartment. It doesn't tell me when or where they're going to do it, but I saw a really cool tweet this morning from Aaron Paul that he sent to Mark Hamill, and he was like, "Thanks for letting me play your role." He goes, "It's a little nerve-wracking having you there with me as I do it, though."
No shit, yeah. It is one thing if someone's like, "Hey, would you like to do a live read of a Star Wars thing, just for fun?" And you get to play Luke Skywalker. It's like, oh, that's really cool. I'm not the world's biggest actor, but I'm coming off this huge show. People know my name. Should be fun. Oh yeah, Mark Hamill's gonna be there doing 3 other voices.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, that definitely adds a little bit of nerve-wracking to it.
Comicbook.com. Comic Book Movie has some footage from it. No, it's all been pulled down. Never mind. Damn. I wish I could have seen this somehow. I just don't know if they're going to be able to legitimately put it out, because I don't know how they got permission from Disney to begin with to do this, let alone if they wanted to release it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, unless they were charging for it, if it was like a free event or a charity event, I don't think Disney would do anything about a live read of an old script that technically they own, but...
As always, no recordings, audio, or video would occur, and security would actively stop anyone they found doing such. So this was just a live read, if you either saw it live or not at all.
Well, we know somebody recorded it. Sadly, in this day and age. It might be traffic cam footage, but at some point we'll see it.
Man, now I'm bummed. I'm like super bummed because I finally found it on the Nerdist where like, yeah, nobody got in there. You weren't supposed to record this. And I'm like, no! It's like the end of episode 3. No.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
Now I'm sad, guys. I'm sad.
No sad. It's No Pants Sunday.
All right, so let's make things happy. Let's roll into the news of the week.
All right. Whose team was first?
I'm going to go first because this is just really cool, and I hope Stargate Pioneer hears this, or he probably already knows about it, but I'm hoping he hears me talk about it on here. They did something really cool in space the other day. They emailed a wrench into space. And bear with me a second here. It's kind of cool how this happens. Astronaut Barry Wilmore needed a socket wrench on the International Space Station. It's about 200 miles away from the nearest hardware store, so how is he going to get it? They emailed him a wrench, and here's how. Because back in November, Wilmore put together a 3D printer on the International Space Station. So when he needed a wrench, they mocked up this wrench in CAD, and they emailed the designs to Whitmore in space, who then printed it out and assembled the 20 separate parts into the exact same socket wrench he needed. How fucking cool is that?
Yeah, that's fucking science is metal. Yeah. Like, that's fucking awesome.
I mean, seriously, he's like, I need a wrench, and instead of having to wait for the next flight up there to put that wrench on, they're like, okay, we'll send you this, and he just puts it together himself after he prints it. It's friggin' badass.
As I mean, basically at this point, anything for the International Space Station, anything for space shuttle missions, they honestly just need CAD blueprints of every part of the ship, everything that they could hopefully think of. Basically, just everything has to be a backup of a backup. So 3 multiple terabyte hard drives that are just filled with nothing but plans, and then a couple thousand pounds of plastic that they can run through the printer, and then make anything that they could possibly need. Think how much easier it would have been, if the Apollo 13 crew that had all those fucking problems when they got hit by the asteroid. Think how much easier it would have been if they could have just printed and replaced every part that was damaged during the asteroid storm.
Oh, I know, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, man, you could replace most of those parts just by 3D printing them if they'd had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to show how cool 3D printing is, and there are useful utilities to it other than just, I'm going to print out this cool little Funko Pop vinyl thing like this on a 3D printer. No, I'm going to fucking print a socket wrench and put it together.
Yeah, it's there's definitely some crazy stuff I've seen. Have you seen the artist pen that's a 3D printer?
No.
It's literally a pen, but you push the button on it and it starts feeding the plastic out of it. And there's this great video of this artist, he made what's basically an almost flat 2D representation of a woman leaning back with her hair falling over, but he's drawing it up in real space, in 3D space, to where it's a standing piece of artwork that's you can look through it, but it's the black lines of the plastic, and he's literally drawing in 3D, but creating a solid, basically, sculpture. It's one of the coolest fucking things ever. Yeah, the different ideas and shit that people are using with the 3D printing technology, it's really cool to see where that stuff's going. Because honestly, if it's something that can be made out of plastic at this point, if it can be made out of plastic and you can get the designs for it, anybody can make anything. That's ridiculous.
Oh, I know, it's insane.
The stuff's pricey, and those printers aren't exactly cheap, but like everything else, when the technology is designed, it's always super expensive, but then it gets smaller and it gets cheaper, until eventually it fits into your motherfucking pocket. This used to be a warehouse full of computers. This is now this is a piece of shit. But in the 70s, this could have ran NASA. It's ridiculous.
Sorry, I got distracted a second. I was trying to check something, and I'm like, this isn't my account I'm signed into.
Uh-oh. Careful now.
That could have really fucked up someone's fantasy football world.
Hey now. Just because I beat you doesn't mean you get to go in and fuck with my team.
Man, that wasn't your team. Man, how ridiculous is that? My worst game of the entire season, the first round of the playoffs, and I scored 70 points.
Hey, I had Peyton Manning sitting on the fucking bench for the second half of the game. I don't want to hear it.
I had 2 touchdowns on my entire team.
That's true. Your team did suck it up last week.
And it never should have, based off of those names on it. But that's neither here nor there.
Last week it was bad, and this weekend I don't know if it's going to be the same because they actually put Manning as questionable. I benched him. I started Roethlisberger. I don't know if that's a good idea or not because I think Manning might actually not even play today at all because Denver's already clinched the division. They don't need a win. They're in the playoffs. They have home field advantage if they fucking keep going. They're fine. So why would Manning even play? It might be Osweiler's day.
Oh God. That's the last thing we need. Yeah, I'm projected to lose right now because I played like shit and my opponent's tight end went off for 20 points. But it's not the championship game, so I honestly don't care at this point. I'm rooting for you. I want Off in the Shower to lose.
Yeah, because we want the great headline that the Nova Corps beats Off in the Shower.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, we have a team in our league called Off in the Shower. And so a lot of people got an awesome email from Yahoo where if during the week, if you happen to win your game against them, you get an email saying that your team name beat Off in the Shower. So, yeah, that's been fun.
It really has.
Technically, let's see, right now I'm projected to lose. But, I don't know. I have a fair set of starters. It's just a question of, I could put Witten in, but god damn it, Tony Romo just doesn't seem to be able to find him anymore, so it's a scary idea to put him in.
It really is.
Yeah. Oh, well. At least you're not in the Sacco Bowl.
Yeah, thank God for that.
We got Gorilla City Grunts. The crappy Raiders. The person that I don't know but hate because apparently they're a Raider fan. No, the 2024 Raiders.
Oh, Raiders.
Yeah, what's really bad is I feel bad for them. They're in the Sacco Bowl. I have the same fucking win-loss record as the 2024 Raiders, who's in second to last place in our division, in our league.
I just can't buy a win anymore.
And yet I'm in the Super Bowl. The only game that really mattered was the first game of the playoffs.
I know, right? All you gotta do is get into the playoffs.
Yep. I snuck in there. I could win the whole fucking league with a 6-8 record. How fucking sad is that?
Yeah, it's now I feel like shit again.
Oh, come on, you're in the consolation bracket. And just think, if you win, you get to beat your girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose though, and I'm kind of accepting that.
Yeah? Don't think you guys are gonna pull it out?
No.
We should go news of the week before people start complaining.
Well, let's go back into news of the week. What'd you have for us, Anthony?
I didn't really have much because there wasn't really anything huge that popped up in my head, but goddamn, if Hot Toys doesn't want all my money. That is my news of the week. Between the Avengers re-releases, the Avengers 2 releases, and the actual 2-scale movie replica Little Groot collectible, Hot Toys wants all your damn money, people. Yeah, the Groot is amazing. I don't believe it actually dances. It says that the arms can be moved.
Yeah,
so
it's bendable
flexible,
arms and
then
different
it has
heads.
multiple heads. Yeah. So I can see people taking that, maybe figuring out a way to mold the body a little bit, and then putting it on one of those dancing flowers. But yeah, that's it. Oh, there we go. So for those watching live, Chris has brought up the Thanos. He's sitting on the throne, the full armor, just gorgeous. I love the fact this motherfucker's like the Mad Titan, the super villain. He's technically been in 2 films already, and at this point he hasn't stood up. Like he's still just sitting in a chair talking shit to people. You know you're a badass when you don't even have to get up, and everybody in the galaxy is afraid of you.
No, but still, one of my favorite things is their scale replica of the Hulkbuster armor they had.
Yeah, I wonder how much it would cost to buy that off of them.
I don't know. So if you guys haven't seen these pictures, go on Newsarama. They have an article.
Yeah, and they are gorgeous. And yeah, the toys itself, yeah, Chris was saying that apparently they're a couple $100 a pop. So I mean, they're not toys. They're fucking super expensive sculptures.
Yeah.
But for a couple $100 a pop, like to get the Hulkbuster and the Ruffalo and make that like a mantelpiece, it would totally be worth it. They are gorgeous.
Well, have you seen the Batman Joker ones they did before?
Yeah, I saw those back in the day. Those were sweet. I mean, Hot Toys, they know how to make some amazing pieces.
This is the actual replica that is the action figure of the Hulkbuster armor, and it still looks badass. The 160
that thing.
replica figure.
Oh, that thing's amazing.
And
Can't wait to watch Hulk tear it apart. Yeah, just head to toe, Hot Toys is just killing it and just trying to take all your allowance, people. So if you don't want to be just broke going in the new year, I would avoid these articles. Don't look up Hot Toys because yeah, they want all your monies.
Side note: the Darth Vader one they also put out that was unveiled here looks incredible.
That Boba Fett looks pretty fucking cool too.
So does the Alec Guinness Vader, or not Vader, Obi-Wan. God, these are so cool. We barely looked at these ones, but the new Iron Man armor looks badass, and so does the new Cap figure. I think Thor is just a re-release of one they did before.
Yeah, for the original one, and it's the barrel arm Thor. I kind of like the chainmail arm Thor.
I do too.
I mean, this figure's still awesome looking, but yeah, I love the Cap with the new version of the suit, where you have the kind of the mix between the Colonel Rogers from.
What's on your mind? You want some chicken?
Apparently, I want some chicken. I'm hungry. I need breakfast. But it's a version that's kind of with like the padding design of the Cap 2 Winter Soldier suit, but it has the red, white, and blue on the ribs again. Which I like that version way better than the Avengers 1 suit. I'm sorry, but the Avengers 1 suit was shit. I love Agent Coulson, but if those colors design that was his idea, I hate that suit. Of all the suits he's worn so far, that's the worst one.
Yeah, so, okay, since we were talking about the Joker one, I'm just going to share this real quick. The Hot Toys Joker is gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, it's got, like, the paint coming off of his forehead.
Yep.
The freaking, yeah, the hair on it, too. The hair on that figure is insane.
Hot Toys makes some of the best action figures I've ever seen, I'll be honest.
Are they? I mean, do they really count as action figures, or if it's a $200 1/6?
It is a 1/6 scale collectible figure, according to everything they write. So,
yeah, those are like some straight up Kevin Smith in action figures, because like that's a statue basically for that price.
No, but these are all posable though.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying it's a posable statue at that point. I'm not sure if I'd call it an action figure, because that's too damn expensive for an action figure.
Yeah. And their Batman was really cool too. I cannot keep looking at these guys. I can't afford any of these.
No. They're all about just taking all your monies. That's what they're here for.
Money? What's money?
Something I don't have anymore.
There's the goddamn Batman.
That's not bad.
So for any of you guys who are watching live, basically we're just looking at pictures of the Hot Toys action figures and drooling.
We're just looking at toys.
If you haven't seen them before, just go to the Hot Toys website, and they are gorgeous. Abso-fucking-lutely gorgeous. It's hottoys.com is basically where you go.
It's a nice company that wants to take all your money, but they're going to give you some really nice stuff when they do it. I'm excited for this week. So we got our Secret Santa at work, and I have a friend who's a huge Firefly fan. And I didn't draw her name in the Secret Santa, so I had traded for her because I'd already bought the present.
Right.
I saw it when I was doing my Jane cosplay ready for Halloween, and I caught the shirt when it was on sale, so I had to buy it. So I already had it, so I traded for her for Secret Santa. So on Monday, she's going to get a T-shirt that has two little dinosaurs on it, and it says, "Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal."
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. That one's really cool.
Yeah. I think she's gonna she'll love it. She's a huge Firefly fan. She basically was the one that I think I only seen Serenity the movie, and she was telling me how much she loved Firefly, and I actually went back and watched the entire series and became just a gigantic Firefly geek after that. So yeah, basically my love of all things Joss Whedon is partially her fault. Oh, the Iron Man.
It's not a bad problem to have. Yeah, so if those of you that missed it, I'm bringing up pictures of the Mark 53 armor from Avengers. It's gorgeous. Seriously, if you just want to get a good idea of how these costumes look for Avengers Age of Ultron, go to the Hot Toys website, because these figures are so detailed, and you get a really good idea of what this what this costume / armor is going to look like in the movie.
Yeah, they give you a pretty good idea of exactly what we're gonna see in the film. Yeah, the new Cap's outfit's badass. You gotta have the red, white, and blue on the ribs. You gotta look like the flag.
Yeah, I think so too.
I like the stealthy Shield one, or the stealthy Shield Agent of Shield from Captain America 2, but it's gotta be red, white, and blue, or it's not Cap's. Then it's Colonel Rogers.
Man, now I'm all distracted. Brain fart.
Toys do that.
Yeah, man, that's the problem. Okay.
Let's see. I don't know. Was there any other big news week?
Did you see they changed Spider
We
Woman's
had all the
costume?
casting news 2 weeks ago.
No
I
casting.
saw
But
that there's a new Spider-Woman costume, but which Spider-Woman is it? Is it Jessica Drew?
Jessica Drew. Here is the new costume. If you hadn't seen it, I'll pull up and screen share. It's much more practical. Let's put it that way. The new Spider-Woman costume. It's almost more like a leather jacket that has the Spider-Woman logo and things like that on it.
I think the design idea actually is, that it's like a fold-over leather jacket.
It reminds me a lot of how. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when I first saw the design, it made me think of a lot of the redesigns of Wonder Woman in the 60s.
Made me think of the new Batgirl redesign they'd just done.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Sort of, yeah, it seems like more of a practical outfit and less superhero-y spandex.
Yep.
Something that somebody would actually make on their own.
Yeah, here's a comparison for those that weren't familiar. The old costume on the left, the new costume on the right.
And I still see nothing wrong with the old costume.
I don't
care
either.
what anybody says. Jessica Drew wore a skin-tight suit, but it's also in her character. Like, she was an ex-agent of Hydra, an ex-agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she used sexuality to fucking fuck with people and
Exactly.
to go undercover. So having a sexy costume actually made sense for the character. And it's one of those ones where it was really depending on how the artist drew it, because there's no skin showing in the costume. It's a neck-to-toe bodysuit, but, depending on how the artist draw it, it sometimes basically looked like she was naked with a spider drawn on her. But yeah, it fit for the character. It wasn't one of those ones where it's a gratuitous, like Psylocke running around in a bikini. It was a head-to-toe costume that actually covered her. So it made sense for the character. It was all really dependent on who the artist was drawing it, of how sexy the costume actually was.
Yeah, completely agree. I was a fan of it. But that's
I loved. Who was it? I think it was Carrie Andrews put it on, or Carrie Andrews. I can't remember how you say his name. They put a post up on Facebook complaining about people going against. Damn it, my brain's not working. I can't remember how he phrased it. But people being outraged against censorship. And he said, no, I'm not talking about the interview. I'm talking about the Milo Manara Spider-Woman cover.
Yeah.
People want to talk shit about one form of art but not the other. If you're offended by the fact that the interview got pulled, then you should be offended by the fact that people wanted the Milo Manara cover to be pulled. Because that's the type of artwork that guy does, and Marvel hired him. So he did what he did, and if you don't like that cover, buy a different cover. But yeah, any type of pulling of something like that, if it happens to offend you, is still a form of censorship. Like George Carlin said, every radio has two knobs on it. You can change the channel, you can turn it the fuck off. If you don't like what you're listening to, that's on you.
Oh, I agree.
I always thought it was funny. I think it was Carrie Andrews. He took the moment everybody's complaining about the interview and Sony pulling it, and he used it as a moment to compare it to the censorship that people were like hollering for Milo Manara's cover, because they said it was too sexy, it was too adult for a comic book cover. It's like the guy does a comic. I want to say he's in Spain or France. I'm not sure. I know he's a European artist, but he does. I think it's Click is the adult comic he does. The guy draws erotic adult comics. He has for like 40 years. It's what he does. If you hire Milo Manara, that's the type of artwork you should expect.
Exactly.
If I hire Michael Bay, I'm not expecting a fucking Oscar Academy plot or storyline, but I know some shit's gonna blow up and it's gonna fucking look good. If you hire someone to do what they do, yeah, it's gonna be pretty. If you hire someone to do what they do, you shouldn't be shocked when they do what they fucking do. Like, that's the part about that I just couldn't understand when people got offended by that cover.
Yeah, some people just have to be offended about things. I mean, it was a variant, it was a low release thing. Feel free, you guys can bitch at me, send my name to the Mary Sue, because I said it's no big deal, and I'm sure they'll come after me.
No, it's not a big deal. And I love the fact that there was a cosplayer that actually got in the costume and basically recreated the pose and showed that it's not as bad as people were acting like it was. He was a little bit off on the, the actual physical ability of a human body to bend that way, but it's also a motherfucking comic book.
Yep.
Like, people just, the idea of Americans get offended now seems to be our favorite hobby, and fuck that. It's fucking bullshit.
Oh, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really only had one last.
My bullshit is like North Korea being offended by a movie making fun of their dictator. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Don't read it. Don't listen to it. Go find something you like. Focus on that shit. Life's too goddamn short to spend all your time complaining about things you don't like.
But I just need to complain. That's how I make myself feel better in life. I complain about things.
Yeah, well, then you belong on the internet, Chris. You belong on the internet.
I'm an internet citizen, god damn it. I don't know why I added the god damn it in there. I might have offended someone, I apologize.
If I offended somebody, fuck you.
Fuck you. So I had one last news story, and then we'll probably just wrap up in our traditional way, but I thought this was kind of cool. I bitched on here before, I think I even went into super dick mode about it, about how the Halo Master Chief Collection was just fucking broken at launch. And pardon the cursing to say that, but that's the best way of putting it. Matchmaking was broken, things like that. And in full credit to 343 Industries, they've been trying to fix. They've been putting out lots of patches. It's been getting better. So here's how they're making it up for all the fans that were inconvenienced because they couldn't play online. Like myself, who tried to do matchmaking and couldn't get in. They're doing a complete remaster of Halo 3 ODST, which came out on the Xbox 360, and they're giving it to those people for free who played the game online or tried to play the game online between launch and I think December 16th were the dates they gave.
I was going to say, how can they tell the people that tried to play online but couldn't?
Well, since they said in the disclaimer, it's anyone who played on Xbox Live, and as long as you're connected to the internet, they can go on there and see, oh, Chris was playing Halo Master Chief Collection at this time. Because
I was wondering, because I mean, I know that's the reason I'll never buy another Call of Duty game is because of what they did with Black Ops. I was one of those people that couldn't get into the matchmaking for over a year.
Yeah.
Because I got it on the PS4, which they didn't beta test at all. And so yeah, it was my version of the PS3. My version of the PS3 as well was the last one that got fixed. So it was 13 months after launch before I could actually get into the fucking battlegrounds.
So the things they're giving people to kind of make up for it, as long as you played between November 11th when the game launched and December 19th, you're eligible to get 1 month of free Xbox Live, which is awesome, exclusive in-game nameplates and a new avatar, and you'll get a copy of Halo 3 ODST's campaign and a multiplayer map from Halo 2, all for free. Now, however, they haven't put a release date on Halo 3 ODST yet. They just said they're working it right now. But if you tried to play and couldn't play, you're getting Halo 3 ODST for free, which is awesome, and it's a really fun game. And it's a good way to kind of make up for the fact that a lot of people are feeling burned that they couldn't play these games.
Yeah, that is good. I mean, it's always good to see companies when they realize, like, hey, this kind of sucked. We should do this to make up for it because our customers will appreciate it.
Exactly.
When companies pull stuff up like that, it always ends up working in their favor. It doesn't matter if you fuck up. Everybody fucks up. Shit happens. But if you ignore it and then just act like there was never a problem, those are the types of companies I don't want to deal with.
And just for some clarification's sake, this remaster will be running at 1080p and 60 frames per second. So it is a complete redo of everything using a new engine. So That's a pretty nice consolation prize. Now, I'm sure people are still going to be pissy and bitching and moaning about it, but come on, they're trying to do what they can to make it right. Give them credit. They did an awesome thing right there to make it right.
Yeah, hell, the fact that they're trying anything. I mean, it's all Microsoft, right? It's not like they need your money. They don't need to.
It's Microsoft, and the developer that was doing it is 343 Industries.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. I mean, they could just say, "Oh, well, it messed up. So what? We already got their money. We don't care." It's not like they have to do this. The fact that they are, that's pretty fucking cool.
That's exactly what I thought. And looking at the time, we're getting close to wrapping up, but we didn't get to talk about it last week. Let's talk a little bit about Arrow, and for those that haven't seen Arrow yet, spoiler alert, you might want to tune out for about 5 minutes. So, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. What'd you think?
That was fucking awesome. And it was also, too, because, like, going into it, once I realized what scene they were redoing, I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, Ollie's dead. He's fucking dead. I was like, there's no way in hell they're going to let him kill Ra's al Ghul the first time they basically actually have him on the show doing a fight. It's like, Ollie's a motherfucking dead man. Yeah, I was stoked at the fact, like, they went balls to the wall with it. The fight was great. The lead up to the episode was great. Because when I had paused it, I was talking to you guys last week. It was literally like 2 minutes before Ollie found out who killed Sarah. I was like, oh, that is fucked up. So like as soon as I started the episode, I was like, God damn it. Like, okay, well I know that. And I was like, yeah, okay, so what's he gonna have to? It's like, well, he's not gonna fucking sacrifice his sister. He'll sacrifice himself. That totally makes sense. It's perfectly within character, and it made for a great turning point in the story of him just stepping up to Ra's al Ghul like, bring it, bitch, let's fight.
Let's do it.
As you wanted to kill her, it's me. I'm gonna tell you I did it. And my DNA was at the fucking at the crime scene anyway, so I could even back it up with proof if need be.
Yeah, man, I can't go on to tell you just how much that one surprised me. I was like, holy shit, this is really good, and holy crap, I can't believe they did that. And Stephen Amell played it perfectly. If you go on at like 9:01 p.m. Eastern Time, he sends a tweet, well, it's been a good run.
Nice. I also love, too, somebody asked him, I guess there was a question about why they were shirtless, and he put it up on Facebook. He's like, it was totally a reference to the Batman versus Ra's al Ghul fight, where Batman's only wearing the cowl. And did he have the cape, or I think it was just the hat?
Just
like
the cowl.
He just had the cowl on, and he was shirtless, and then the pants. And so yeah, it was literally Arrow's version of that, where Ollie's just wearing pants, Ra's al Ghul's just wearing pants, and they're fighting up on top of a mountain, just being badasses. Yeah. Did you think Ollie had any chance though when that fight started?
I didn't think the fight was going to actually end. I thought something was going to interfere with it and break the fight up. I just didn't know what.
See, that's funny, because as soon as they stood there, like as soon as he actually showed up, and they're doing this fight, it's like, sweet, Oliver Queen's going to die, and we're being introduced to the Lazarus Pit. Because that's the only thing that makes any fucking sense.
Oh, yeah, it totally is.
Yeah, because they're not going to kill Oliver Queen in the show. But yeah, they haven't mentioned the Lazarus Pit yet. They've mentioned the fact that apparently, at this point, Roz is saying he's like 400 years old or whatever. It's like, I've been killing men for 490 years or whatever he said. But yeah, they haven't actually mentioned how or why it is that Ra's al Ghul is this unstoppable,
and he also had that line of, it's been 67 years since someone last challenged me.
Mm-hmm.
Direct reference to Lazarus. So that's what we were theorizing on Starling Tribune.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool to see what happens. And I also want to know if they're going to do any part of the whole... I remember certain storylines where when someone comes out of the Lazarus Pit, they're originally insane. And it takes you a while for like your mind to get back. So I wonder if we're going to get like a crazy fuck Ollie when they first pull him out of it, if he's just going to be batshit insane for a while.
The question is, who puts him in the pit? And my guess is it's either John Barrowman's Malcolm Merlyn, or I don't know. I'm thinking Merlin, and then he can basically manipulate him for a little bit and have Ollie be the bad guy, and nobody knows it's really Ollie being the bad guy.
I could see that.
But I have no idea where they're going to go.
I was thinking it would be Talia, Raz's daughter.
That would be cool.
Because technically, according to the laws of the League of Shadows, he did bring forth Sarah's killer and brought them to justice. It was him, so like it's not really the way she was expecting, but he did technically do what he said. He brought them a killer and paid the price. And so I could see she could possibly put him in the Lazarus Pit against her father's wishes as a way to pay him back for bringing Sarah's killer to justice. But yeah, the Malcolm Merlyn thing, now that you say it, it makes more sense. Because Malcolm, knowing what Speedy did, knowing that he set up the whole scene, and then knowing that Ollie went through with his part and fucking stood up and actually basically committed suicide to save his sister, which is really what he did. He fucking stood in front of an unkillable warlord and said, "Okay, shove a sword through me. I'll deal with the consequences afterwards." But yeah, the idea that if Merlyn having set all of that up, he knows where a Lazarus Pit is hidden somewhere. Like he can get to one.
Arguably, that's what brought him back to life, is the Lazarus Pit.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to assume that there's no way around it at this point. They have to introduce the Lazarus Pit. I'm just wondering, the big question to me is if it's the one where it's going to be more kind of clean for TV, where it's like, hey, you dump somebody in this pool, you wait an hour, you pull them out, and they wake up and everything's fine. Or is it you dump someone in this pool and then this insane fucked up version of them crawls out and just wants to kill everybody they see until eventually like their soul kind of reattaches itself to their body and they become who they were again.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with it, but I am incredibly, incredibly intrigued. That's the best way
Crazy
to put it.
Dark Ollie, yeah, kind of working for Merlin for a while, could make for some really cool twists in the show. It could give us a reason for fucking Arrow to fight at the Atom.
That
All of a
would
sudden,
be
the Arrow
interesting.
starts going nuts, and old Brandon Routh got to put on the costume and go pick a fight. That could be cool.
It's also how they bring in Laurel as the Canary because Oliver's not there to stop her, and Roy can't do it all by himself.
Yeah, that could make sense. All of a sudden, Laurel's in the Arrow cave, kind of trying to kick ass and take charge, and nobody really wants to stop her just because they're afraid of what Ollie will do when he does come back.
Well, I don't know that she's going to take charge because I think that Diggle would put her in her place to be like, look, you're
I'm
in
not
charge.
like she'd run the team, but like she'd be in there basically like stealing equipment and using whatever she wanted, just
Yeah, that's
doing
possible.
whatever she wants. And then, yeah, them not wanting to stop her just simply because they don't know what Ollie would do, so they're unsure of the situation. It should be fun. Yeah, I can't wait for the second half of the season. That show is so fucking good.
I know. So that's our spoiler look into Arrow. We're going to go back to not giving spoilers because I know some actually, I think it's already out in the UK. I can't remember. It might have aired already. But in our traditional fashion, we're near the end of the show. We got about 5 to 10 minutes left. This is where we share with you what we've been getting into, what we are getting into, things like that. I'll go first. I am on a 2-week vacation from work because I did not burn any vacation during the year. So I am basically wallowing about in my own crapulence. I am playing video games. I made the mistake of starting up Mass Effect 3 again and forgetting how much I loved that game. So I'm doing like my 5th playthrough on Mass Effect 3, I think, maybe 6th.
Jesus.
Problematic. I love that game a little too much. Let's see. I had to send back my webcam that I had been using before because there was an issue with the focus on it. And credit to Amazon, they had me a new one in 2 days. So you guys never saw the gap between last week and today when I was without my new cam. So kudos to Amazon for fixing that real quick.
Nice.
I did see Big Hero 6 last night. Really, really enjoyed that movie. I did not know what I was expecting going in. It wasn't what I expected, but in a good way. I really liked that movie. Disney can do no wrong this year. Let's be honest.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it comes down to right now. What else? I was going to watch Ascension, the 3-night sci-fi miniseries event on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I watched about the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and I got distracted, had other stuff to do. I've got all 3 recorded, but I asked the operator from Legends Podcast on Twitter, he was watching it, so I asked him what he thought, and he basically told me it's not worth my time. So I might not go back and see it. He said the sucking is full in regards to it. Regarding Ascension, I was, how shall we say, less than impressed. The sucking is full.
Sucking is full. It's got the full-on suck. It's not just suck. It's the full-on suck.
Yeah.
It's the Hoover.
And then last thing I can think of is I got my reward package from Kickstarter in this week for Toe Tag Riot, so I am officially an insincere perv, just like Matt Miner and Sean Van Gorman, who
Nice.
created
Damn
the
it, mine
series.
hasn't shown up yet. I picked up the number 0 when I met Matt Miner at SLCC, so I have that. I've got my digital copy, but yeah, my hard copy hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah, I met Matt a couple years ago, and I think it was a C2E2. Really cool guy. It was fun to
He's
chat with
fun.
him for a while.
Yeah, he was at SLCC with the new artist for the book, for his other book, the one about saving animals. I can't remember what
Liberator.
they changed the name. Yeah, they changed the name of it from Liberator to something else. I can't think of the new name. Yeah, his new artist is fantastic. It was weird though, because apparently he normally rocks like a crazy beard, and when I saw him at the con, he was clean shaven, so he didn't look like any of his photos on like the back of the books. So one of those weird ones where someone just looks completely different from what you're expecting when you meet him. Like, oh wait, you actually are this person. You're just not rocking 7 years worth of a beard.
Yeah, I hear you there.
These extreme changes, man, they freak people out.
So I'm going to toss it over to you then, Anthony. What have you been getting into? What are you going to be getting into in the upcoming couple weeks?
It's still all about Coloring Geek because I'm slow and I'm still learning. But god damn it, that book's going to get done and it's going to be awesome. I finished the Thrawn trilogy finally. Really enjoyed that. The artwork in that book's great. I love how I see now why people were so stoked about the character of Mara Jade. So I'm excited at some point when I get all caught up on stuff. I literally want to just go back and start buying all the Star Wars novels and just read all those other stories that I haven't gotten around to. So they'll all be added to the list. But yeah, the Thrawn trilogy was a blast, and I'm planning on turning around and just starting it over again from the beginning so I can kind of get all those names locked. Just there really is a lot of characters that get introduced in those 3 books. But yeah, it was a fun one. And then yeah, just basically watching movies while I'm wrapping presents for Christmas and coloring. I got what was it? I picked up Tammy from the Red Box. That was a buck and change, so I'm not mad that I spent a buck on it. It had some really funny parts, and then some parts where it's like, oh, okay, that was just weird. But that one was good. And then last night I had a free code, so I said, well, for free, I'll watch Transformers 4. So I watched the Marky Mark versus the Transformers last night. For a free code, it wasn't bad. On the 70-inch TV, it was pretty. So, it was a good Michael Bay explosion. I had some popcorn, drank a beer, watched things explode. If I'd have paid for it, I probably would have been angry. But since it was free, yeah, it was a good free movie. Once it's on Netflix, I would recommend it. It's a good thing to watch for free. Don't pay money for it.
Fair enough. I can live with free.
Yeah, for free movie is good. Yeah, other than that, just prepping for the holidays, wrapping presents for Secret Santa at work, wrapping presents for actual Christmas. Getting ready to work all week up until Christmas Day, because since I work in an office with 33 people and only 3 of us are guys, and of all the guys, I'm the only one that doesn't have kids. When everybody starts fighting over holiday time off, trying to get Christmas Eve, the day after Christmas off, I just don't request any days off. I work every day except the actual federal holidays that we have Christmas, because there's no reason for me to really take the time off. My family's local, it's here. I mean, I do the Christmas Eve drive out to my grandparents' house every year. It takes 40 minutes. It's not like I'm heading out of state or to a different part of the state. So I would rather work and let all the people that have little kids in the office take the extra time off and not have to be there. So it makes for a crappy week because it's a little dead in the office. There's not many people, and the amount of work doesn't get any lower. But there's less of us there to do it. So at least you stay busy. It's just weird because it gets quiet in the office sometimes. Like the day before Christmas, it'll be like half full. We'll have like 12 people there out of the 30. But yeah, it's a state job, man. It's the government. Child support never stops. It just keeps on going. Job security, man. From now until forever, people will hate each other and people will get divorced and they will have kids. So
this is true.
I got job security.
There is that, I suppose. Let's see. So I guess that's going to wrap us up for 2014.
Sweet.
Scary stuff. We'll be back, guys, in 2015. Don't worry. And next week there will be a new episode still, too. Like we said before, don't worry. It's a bunch of WindyCon coverage. And there's some pretty interesting stories. I'm told the Draftsman has a pretty good story in there where he and Keith the Destroyer go and talk about Constantine.
Nice.
Maybe it's a preview of those guys doing a podcast. I don't know. Hint, hint. You guys need to.
That's true. How do they not have a podcast yet?
I don't know. We need to make this happen.
Exactly.
We're going to do this. Don't forget, we're going to stream live every Sunday, except this upcoming Sunday, over at live.atgnpodcast.com. You can find us on all the social medias, things like that. We're also a part of the Gonna Geek Network, so check out the entire network over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. There's some other great shows you guys can listen to and or watch in some cases to fill in those gaps where you need more podcasts. We've got you covered. I'm struggling. I can't think of anything else to bring up or to plug right now. You got anything you want to plug?
No. It's POI did our they did the Winter Festival podcast, so that'll probably be out soon. So if you guys want to go check that out on the Points of Interest Podcast Network, I actually missed it, so there was no representative from the Next Element podcast, which is kind of sad. Though, okay, yeah, I do have one shout out. Congrats to Colin Addington, my co-host on the Next Element podcast. We will be able to get the show kind of restarted again because that motherfucker finally just graduated college.
Nice.
He got his diploma, I think, 2 days ago. So it was all over Facebook. We were all, real happy for him. He's been waiting to finally get that done. He ended up going to both the big colleges in the state of Idaho. He just didn't finish his degree at the first one, but he finally finished his degree. So hopefully he'll actually have a little bit of free time now. He's been working a 40-hour week job for the state and going to school full time. So That's basically why the Next Element hasn't been, doing much of anything, because that man has been busy, even busier than me. I mean, I keep myself busy, but he's had motherfucking homework and lots of it. So he finally graduated. So congrats, Colin Addington. The Next Element will be coming back soon.
Yeah, congratulations. That's huge.
Indeed.
It's huge. So I guess that's going to wrap us up for this week. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Hope you guys have a great holiday season. I'm going to say, and if you're offended by me saying Merry Christmas, I apologize. But Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. And if you don't like it, don't listen.
I don't mean that to make anyone feel not included. It's just force of habit. So we will see when we get back, but until then, everyone take care. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Have a good rest of your 2014. Bye.